It's a little quiet. There he is. Off to another auspicious beginning.
Decided to do a little beatboxing for that one.
Since you beatbox, does that mean we're covering like a R&B case? Like a famous rapper?
No. Not at all. And of course, the beginning of this podcast for Lisa, who is the only person who really has followed us from the beginning. I started at the beginning. Oh, now I've got the squeaky chair.
That's
Apologies.
Not my bathroom, by the way. That's the dishwasher. It's really loud.
Bullshit. I know that you do these on a commode.
Are you in the bathroom right now? No.
No.
What's that echo? My garage?
I do all of my Zoom meetings from the garage.
I'm actually drinking a Coors Light tonight. I haven't had a drink on this podcast for a long time. It's usually coffee.
No. Well, I had people over. I was a social butterfly. So I found people that I actually like.
Now you have SARS.
Oh, that was one of the other things. I did read, Lisa, I did read your email, and I think it's hilarious that you bought a used vacuum that you're scared is full of COVID. But also, I think also that at the beginning of this whole COVID thing, I'm pretty sure that I had COVID too.
Well, you know what?
I had COVID before it was cool.
Yeah. Jack and I both had pneumonia in December. And I do wonder, like, how the fuck would I get pneumonia? I guess pneumonia is contagious, but I see patients with it 24/7. Every day I have at least 10 patients with pneumonia, and I've never caught it before. And I got really sick. I had a fever of like 41. That's in Celsius. It would be like 104 or 105 in Fahrenheit.
Yeah. And that's what Lisa said. Her temperature has spiked to that high as well. So, yeah.
Lisa also sent us a really insightful thing about the her opinion of what's going on with the riots and stuff. And I just want her to know, I agree with her 100%. We won't go into it again this time, but she and I have very similar feelings on it. What was the other thing? You know what? I never finished the story about Jack spending $3,200 or $3,300.
Oh my
Grand
gosh!
Theft Auto.
Yeah,
friend Ray was like, "Why didn't you finish that story? How did that happen?"
Anyway, let's talk about birds.
Talk about
on the
Mike
next
Pence
episode,
some more.
We'll tell you how a little boy spent $3,500.
We'll do a special episode only for Patreons, Ray.
Yeah, suck a dick.
No, he did do it. He did do it, and I got some of it back.
He sucked your dick? I had no idea. Well done.
Well, you get to a certain age, and a blowjob's a blowjob. It's
it's the giving, not the receiving.
I'm talking about. First of all, that didn't happen. Secondly, I'm talking about Ray, not my son.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
So,
okay,
what's new in the world of the paranormal?
I was reading. So my news source, the news source. Fuck me, my news source, TikTok. Yeah. I've watched these people, and they go through comments and they read funny comments, and they're like, I've been really getting into meditation, and I'm loving the use of essential oils and incest. People can't spell.
No, people. You know what really trips people up is your, like YOU''RE as in you are, or your as in the possessive. People spell it wrong almost every time.
In the days of yore.
In the days of yore. Yeah.
Is that why you are?
No, that's Yom Kippur you're thinking of. PPUR.
We're going camping, so you know how I go through these times of being obsessed with.
I gotta let the dog out just 1 second.
Oh, well, listener, I occasionally become obsessed with things. So I have found army and military surplus stores,
Oh,
and
sorry.
I think Jake and I
She's gonna
spoke
start
about
barking.
this
Oh,
before, but
what's that?
um, the my newfound love of the army surplus.
Oh yeah.
So currently, I am wearing a NTS shirt. It's meant to be an undershirt. I was wearing it under a flannel, but I found that it's the perfect shirt for Australian weather
Oh.
because it's like basically it's Spanx. Let's be real, but it's
It's
like
not supposed to
it's
be. It's supposed to be loose fitting.
it's
But our
polyester.
physical profile does not match what you need
No,
to
it's not.
be to get
It's
into
not
the
really
military.
tight, but it's got like that lycra kind of feel. It's polyester, so it's wicking, so it keeps you kind of cool, but it also can keep you warm if you need it to be warm. It's really nice. So I found those, but the only problem is I've been wearing them under all of my shirts when I go to clinics and stuff.
Uh-huh.
But the only problem is that they only come in khaki, so
Yeah.
it doesn't really blend in with like under a white shirt. It just kind of looks like I'm very dirty.
You know what?
Or
It doesn't matter. I've been reading a lot of books about Italy lately and how important appearance is to them. How, like you and I, if we were Italians, we would wear suits every day and go out. Doesn't matter what the weather is. And but none of them are fat. They like it's very important to stay trim. And I just
yeah,
think I'm fat, and it doesn't matter what I wear. Everybody's going to look at me and be like, "He's got fucking
I know.
tits, that guy."
I
So
know. I know.
so if you got a khaki undershirt under your whatever, nobody gives
Yeah,
a shit.
no one gives a shit.
They
They
instantly
also have
dismiss you just for being fat, so it doesn't matter what you're wearing.
they also sell bamboo shirts, which are the most comfortable thing ever. So I found those, and then today Elijah and I went
I would
out.
think they would
Um,
be pretty stiff.
no, they're very soft.
Yeah.
Today Elijah and I went out, and we're going camping next weekend, and it's winter here. And last night was Alice's birthday party, and I sat in a like a lawn chair for a few hours. And after that, I could not move. Like my neck is so stiff. I was up all night last night. I'm in so much pain, like agony, agony. I can't
Yeah.
move. So I bought a $100 reclining camp chair. It's like
So
a
you
lazy
spent
boy.
as much as you would spend on a hotel room on a chair, but you're going to take camping to save money on a hotel room.
Yes.
I've been fishing. Jack went to fishing camp last week. Oh my god, it was awesome. So he fell in love with it. It's
Yeah.
the things at the Hammond River Angling Association, and it's a really beautiful little spot. And he fell in love with fishing to the point that every night when he'd come home, he'd make me take him back to the Angling Association and go fishing with him.
Uh,
And last night we were there. We were there till the sun went down, and I caught a catfish of all things. But
oh,
yeah, a big one, like a big. I'll send you the picture. It's quite cool. But
is this off a wharf?
no, it's right in the Hammond River under the bridge. You know where the Polish restaurant is?
Oh yeah, yep,
That's right where the Angling Association is.
yep.
Anyway, and we fished until 9:30, and I was like, "Okay, dude, we got to go up." And he's like, "I'm just gonna cool off," and he wanted it to be like an extra day of fishing camp, so he just took off his shirt and jumped in the water and went swimming to the raft. Like, man, this is awesome. We were there till like 10:30 at night. It was incredible. He had a whole extra day of camp in the night.
With you.
Okay, now I got to let the dog in. She went out to find the rawhide that she'd buried earlier. Just one sec.
Oh. I like fishing. I enjoy it also. I never went to fishing camp because I think that might be for losers. Just saying. No offense.
She's going up to put it in Chrissy's room. Chrissy and Jack.
Oh yeah, that's good. Oh, did I tell you that I woke up and Elijah had been eating in my bed and it was full of crumbs, and Aaron had left the bed like I'd slept in. It was like slept in, being 7:30 in the morning, and I was like, ugh, and I tried to brush the crumbs away, and there were so many of them. I was like, what is it? A whole fucking cookie? Like, did he leave a whole loaf of bread in my bed? Ooh,
Yeah.
Dr. Seuss. I lifted up the covers. No, it was a fucking dog turd. The dog had shit the fucking bed.
And then you smeared it.
No, it was dry and crumbly. I was like, I couldn't fucking believe it. I was like, what the fuck? What now? What next? What the fuck? Big
been,
fucking dog turd.
Awful. It's been really hot here, like extremely hot. Probably, for Canada, we say like 30 is hot. This has been like 35, 40 every day.
Global warming.
It's cold now.
Fixed it.
Yeah. This pandemic's been really great, man. Like, the emissions are down. We should just like
the fish are back into Venice.
We should just like cancel, humanity. And
yeah.
I can't stand it. Anyway.
No more boats. You know what? They should fucking cancel the cruise ships. I'm sorry for anyone who likes a cruise ship, but those things.
I would never.
Like,
it's like
not only like one trip is like equivalent to 1 million cars on the road. So they legitimately are bad for the environment. But
I don't even know. I don't even care about the emissions. I just think it's like
floating fucking petri dish of.
It's like a floating nursing home.
Well, some of them are, but I mean, some of them are not. But
I find it
all gross.
amazing that people who are terrified of being put in a nursing home voluntarily go on cruise ships for old people. Like, man, it's like all the disadvantages of a nursing home plus all the disadvantages of not being able to get the fuck out of the nursing home.
It just
because you'll die if you try to leave.
What a mess. I just hate the idea. And like those people where the toilets were backing up and they were like having to shit in buckets. I was like, oh, I don't even want to shit in a bucket in my own backyard where no one's around. Like,
why would you want to shit?
Well, I know,
Unless
but
you
like
got some weird kink.
in the privacy, like if my toilets weren't working and I had to shit outside. I'd
go to a gas station and shit in their bathroom. I wouldn't. Yeah.
Oh no! See, I don't do the public toilet thing. So the public toilet being a bucket would be right fucking out.
Yeah. Well, do you remember our Uncle Bill had a camp we used to go to? Out in Sussex, and he had an outhouse. He didn't have any indoor plumbing.
Well, no, he did it at Gwenny's house. It was an outhouse, but at his house, he did have a toilet.
Yeah, sorry. He was an eccentric guy. So his last week or 2 weeks ago, we talked about the paintball day when we had to shoot each other in the coat rack area in the Commerce Center. So that was his daughter's husband's paintball field, and it's like the most eccentric family you could imagine. They've got the paintball fields. They've got they're painting. Bill raised goats and ducks. I don't know. He made wine out of dandelions. He picked magic mushrooms as a hobby, and he worked in Grenada for half his life.
I loved him. He was the best.
It was amazing. It was amazing, but it was like a really fucked up, like LSD version of Forrest Gump. That was Bill. That was Uncle Bill.
I don't know if he picked magic mushrooms. Did he?
Yep. He was a avid mushroom picker and eater. But he was also the guy who would always convince his nieces and nephews to grab the electric fence, if you remember, around the goat pen.
And try to eat the goat berries.
The goat berries. Yeah. AKA turds. He was, what the fuck were we talking about? Oh, the outhouse, right. So he'd built this camp that he put his sister in, Aunt Gwen, and she lived there all summer. And I used to go up and stay with her. I think you might have too, a couple of times. So I'd stay with her a couple of night, but I'd stay 2 nights in a row, 3 nights in a row with her. We had a lot of fun. Like we watched for the deer. We went, it was very naturey,
rustic.
Yeah, mostly she would sit in the backyard and I would go fishing in the stream and stuff. But the outhouse, when you had to have a shit in the middle of the night, was terrifying. And go out. I'm soft. I'm a soft man. And that's the problem. They say that hard times make good men. Good men create soft times.
Hard times. What? I don't. Who gives a shit? You're
You know,
soft.
bad
Yeah.
bad times make good men. Good men make easy times. Easy times make soft men. Soft men make hard times. So it's like that cycle. Now I'm a soft man. I don't like shitting in an outhouse, but I remember being a kid and creeping out into that outhouse, and like wildlife all over the place, raccoons potentially, taking a deep dive in the shit bucket underneath the outhouse, and they didn't
Waiting to
clean it out.
lunge at your dangling ball sack.
That's my biggest fear, is that some dirty, shitty rat or raccoon covered in feces is going to take a jump and bite my ball sack or the tip of my dick when I'm taking a shit in an outhouse. So I'd hover. I would like, it's hard to explain, but I'd put my hands down like a fucking Olympic gymnast, and you couldn't spread your cheeks. You had to like put your hands down and lift your ass up off the seat in case a raccoon came up, so you could like snatch it as you heard it coming before. I was always worried I was gonna.
I think that yeah. I don't think that's. I think you'd hear it sloshing around in there before.
But there were so
Or
many
anything
noises.
else.
There were so many outdoor. You'll see when you go camping. It's there's a lot to hear, especially when you're trying to take a shit in the middle of the night, which always happens to me. That's been since I was a kid. Like, 2 a.m, got to take a dump. I looked it up, and they're like, "Oh, that's definitely a sign of Crohn's or colitis." Like, yeah, it's just when
You
I
wake up shitting your pants.
No, but you're
You've
just
got
like,
IBS.
it's not that you're shitting your pants. You just kind of get up and you're like, "Whoa, I got to go to the bathroom." I don't know. It's very convenient because then your wife doesn't have to listen to have a crap because she's asleep. But on the flip side of that, I also crap like 5 times a day. So she gets 4 bad experiences and one that she doesn't know about at 2 a.m. Anyway, do you remember we had that outhouse? It wasn't like your typical like honey bucket where you shit in it and then you take the honey bucket out.
No,
or
it would
somebody
just
collects it.
decompose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just shit into a pit and you put lime in it, like you're
Yeah,
dissolving
lye.
a human body. Lime.
Yeah.
Wasn't it lime?
No,
Lime.
it was lye, because they were like, "This will melt your skin. Don't touch it. Use the scoop."
Doesn't lime melt your skin too?
No, lime is what you use to adjust the pH of your soil.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
And lye, I think. How do you spell lye?
They both come from potash. LYE versus LIME.
Lye.
Lime is more alkaline than soda ash. When reacted together, they produce a stronger alkali than either of the two separately. Lye is caustic soda, sodium hydroxide. So anyway, it was you weren't allowed to touch the stuff, and it was pitch
Yeah,
black.
crust
We didn't
formation.
have a
That's
flashlight.
right. So crust formation is encouraged by adding lye or hydrated lime. I guess it's all the fucking same. At 1 pound per 1,000 cubic feet. In other words, for a human use outhouse as opposed to manure storage, you don't need much lime for daily use. Just
I
a
was putting big
sprinkling.
scoops. I was putting huge scoops in there.
Yeah, we used to too, and it was fun.
My
I mean,
thought being
what else
that if you covered it with enough like caustic soda, the raccoons wouldn't come out and bite you in the balls the next night.
Well, at least you would blind the raccoons, and then they would be leaping blindly at your dangling ball sack rather than with accuracy.
I think one of my biggest regrets is that as I've been going through medicine, so I don't know, you probably don't have a pension either, but you have to save for your retirement, right? And what I've been doing is saving and investing in the stock market and then subsequently losing it all. About on a 4-year cycle, I lose everything that I've ever saved.
Yeah, I do
And
the same, except I lose it by spending it on things that I don't need.
Yeah, that's true. You do that. But what I was getting at is, when Bill died, they sold a lot of that land. My biggest regret is not buying it, because
you
that
should
would have been such a cool place. I mean, I wasn't going to exactly start a working goat farm again, but
It would be a good ski chalet or something like that.
well, the fishing there was so awesome, right? It was in that little brook. I don't know if it's still like that, but I remember going down as a kid
I'm
and you'd
pretty
come up
sure
with
he
like a
sold it
string
to-
of fish, like 20 fish.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he sold it to a logging company. So
Oh, never mind. then.
yeah, it's done now. It's gone. That stream is now it's now a pit.
Yeah, it's the hydrofracking runoff stream. Sorry.
Tell me about the $3,500 that your son spent.
Oh yeah, right. So I didn't. We got him this Game Pass. It was at the beginning of the pandemic, and I didn't realize it had like adult games. I never even thought of it. Obviously, it does, but it never even occurred to me that it would have Grand Theft Auto or shit like that on it. And so little did I know, he was here at the cottage with Mum, where he had an Xbox, and he was playing on this Game Pass. He was playing Grand Theft Auto all the time. And he met all these online friends who are either pederasts or Russian hackers or whatever. And at one point, somehow, he gave one of them his sign-in information. And according to him, now he may have just spent it all himself, but I don't think so, because he swears he didn't. But he gave somebody the sign-in information, and they then used it to log into his account and said they were going to give him money, and they bought $3,300 worth of Grand Theft Auto money, and then left him with a little bit and took the rest for themselves. Like you can give it to other players, so they gave it to their own avatar, and yeah. So I got these. It was funny. I got these notifications, and if you have an Xbox, you get a monthly notification like your membership is renewed or whatever. I wasn't paying much attention, but I got 2 in a row one day. It's like, man, why am I getting this so often? And I went and checked the email, and it was like, you bought a Bull Shark card for $119. And I was like, 100? What the fuck? So I called. I said, Jack, are you playing Grand Theft Auto? What is this? He's like, yeah, I play Grand Theft Auto. He said, I play with my friends. I said, oh shit. And I went into my credit card, and somebody had bought like 30 of these cards, the gift cards for Grand Theft Auto. And so I put in a complaint with Microsoft and with Xbox and with the credit card company. I had to cancel my credit card in case they actually had the number. And they refunded, I think, 1,500 of them, and the other ones they said they couldn't prove didn't come from our house. So,
oh my gosh!
So yeah. Instead,
I hope you like Grand Theft Auto.
No, you know what? I canceled it. I deleted it completely.
Yeah, of course you would. Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
So it doesn't take a disc anymore? Like,
no, it's like it's all online now. It's in the cloud.
Oh, because back like when I would play video games, you had to have a disc that you would use. You could still play online, like with what's it called, Special Ops or whatever, Call of Duty. But you could still play online, but you had to have a disc, and you could play one player, or you could go online and play multiplayer.
Yeah,
but I didn't. I would never let my kids do that though. People swear on there, and they can be really bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. The game is look, whatever. I don't really give a shit, but the game is so violent and so randomly violent. Like you can just go out and kill hookers or whatever you want to do, and
well, of course.
With no real consequences, right? So, and it's very addictive. I played Grand Theft Auto 4 when I was in college.
I tried to play it
in my residency.
I didn't understand the point of it. Like you're not.
Well,
like,
you get the missions. Like what I like.
There's no bad guys.
Well, you're the bad guy, kind of. You're like a mobster. Anyway, what I liked was you'd get missions and play out the story in this big world that somebody had created. It was like, creative kind of. And it was an appreciation for what they'd built. And the story was quite good. It was like watching a Godfather movie, kind of. But, the way kids play it, they just want to get like the best car, or they want to,
Yeah.
It's just like constant dopamine hits over and over again.
Yeah.
And so he's not playing that one anymore. Sorry,
whoa.
I can't.
He's playing Trolls. Now he's playing Trolls.
Yeah, no, just straight online porn. That's all.
Oh my gosh.
It's very strong pornography.
Well, the first game. So my kids, like, I'm not being like I'm a super parent. It's just that we don't have game consoles or anything like that.
Yeah.
So the first, like, this semester Alice has done Minecraft education. So she asked if I could get Minecraft on her home iPad. So I did that, but I had to call our friends to ask them how to make sure that she can't talk to anybody or do anything online, because like the little toggle switches don't change color, and they don't say off or on. It's just
No.
like left or right.
Yeah.
So
Jack plays.
that's
He still plays Minecraft.
it's the only game that they have, and it's not because I'm like, games are bad. It's because I really just don't. Well, also, Erin sold my PlayStation. I had a PlayStation 3. She
Did you
sold
really?
it for $30
Why?
because it was she was doing it clean out of the spare room, and she didn't ask me. And I was like, Erin, I was still logged in on that. Like, they were. That's got like a lot of information on it. Like all of my CDs, like I had backed up all of my music CDs on them.
Oh man.
Yeah. She just
Son of
sold
a
it for $30.
Well,
And she was like, yeah, I was cleaning out whatever condo. And I was like, what the fuck?
yeah, Marie
Fuck.
Kondo.
Marie Kondo. It didn't bring me joy. I was like, it brought me joy.
Yeah.
Fucking
It's like,
dick.
it brings me joy to make you unhappy. The state of our marriage.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. So yeah, that was the one thing. And Elijah's like, I really want to play video games. I'm like, well, Mom sold the thing, so blame her.
Sorry, honey. Your mother's
Sorry,
a bitch.
I'm time to buy a new motorcycle.
Yeah. The teacher says that's from white privilege, Dad. You're speaking from
What's
a place
that?
of privilege. Oh, Jack, somebody, they still were doing some school stuff, and he was asking me what white privilege is, and I think so they were talking about it in school, and I was like, ignore that, Jack. Just fucking live your life. I said, I had to give him the talk. I said, sometimes teachers just spout bullshit that keeps them employed. So
Well, I mean,
don't feel bad.
I mean, white privilege exists, but I don't think the kids need to know about it. I think they can just be kids.
Well, he was like, I don't know. They tell them to feel bad about the way they're born. I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah, no, I think that
They're nothing better than
That's-
fighting racism with racism.
yeah, that's
Fuck
not
off.
it's not really the answer. But
No.
I just think that our kids should be able to just like we grow up and we didn't think about any of that sort of thing.
No.
And I think we were. I mean,
Having
no.
said that, I did kind of want to have sex with a Chinese chick at some point.
Oh, oh my gosh,
Never worked out.
no, no. But I mean, like, we didn't have to worry about any political stuff. Like, that's something that you can worry about when you're older.
Yeah,
I don't think
I
kids
think
should have to worry about
kids
that.
should just keep them off social media because the amount of shit they can get into just by being
Oh, absolutely.
well, not even by being
Yeah.
racist, but just by being insensitive or not even saying something that they don't know is racist.
Yeah.
Fuck, there's so many words, right? Like the master bedroom is now being the Real Estate Association of Canada is renaming the master bedroom and bathroom because master
No.
implies like master, and it's like, well, fuck, they canceled Aunt Jemima for fuck's sake. It was quite
Well,
funny.
I get that.
Speaking
get
of getting yourself in trouble, though, so they deleted Aunt
Speaking of
Jemima.
getting myself, I think it should stay on Jemima.
Well, they got rid of Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben's, right? The rice company. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, I think that kind of makes sense. Like,
I don't.
to me,
I don't
that-
think that. I think Aunt Jemima was like a. I don't know if it's right, but I read that it was based on Nancy Green, who had been a slave, was an excellent cook, and was America's first black millionaire.
yeah, no, that was all. She died poverty stricken. That was all propaganda.
Anyway,
I saw the
regardless.
post.
Regardless of it, it's just I don't give a shit. It's just a brand. I don't even care. But I made a post just thinking I was being funny, saying, what they should do is just swap it and call it Uncle Jemima and Aunt Ben's, and then it'll be progressive again. I don't have to go spend all the money relabeling everything. They'll be trans. They'll be the first trans mascots. Of,
No, they'll rename it artificial tree blood.
yeah. The Dixie
Maple
Chicks aren't
flavored
gonna
tree
be-
blood.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a point. There comes a point where you're not just, you know, addressing insensitivity. You're just deleting history, right? Like the Dixie chicks won't use the word Dixie anymore. They say the word Dixie's racist. It's not. It might be, but it's fucking history. It's a place. The Mason-Dixie line exists. You can't delete geography because it triggers you.
How is Dixie
ridiculous?
Is that controversial? I just thought it was the name of a place called Dixie.
Well, when you think of the Civil War and the Confederacy, the Mason-Dixie line was the delineation, right?
I don't know.
Jeez,
no, I don't know history well enough.
Let me give you a false history lesson.
Listen, the only history I know is about Alexander Hamilton because it's a
thanks to the musical. They should do a Civil War musical. They'd have some good music. Music of that era was amazing.
Aaron Burr,
between four states forming parts of the borders:
Lafayette,
Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, West
Hercules
Virginia.
Mulligan.
I was totally wrong.
Thomas Jefferson.
The border between no listen, it later became informally known as the border between the free northern states and the slave southern states, Mason-Dixie line. But you can't delete the word Dixie. People are still from Dixie. They're still from Dixie.
Yeah, and what about the cups?
Yeah. The Dixie cups. Yeah, they'll have to rename them. Everything's going to be renamed. It's like cultural Marxism. We're just going to change. We're going to delete everything that we know and rename it all things that support whatever fucking super progressive party wants to get in power by co-opting this movement, which is exactly what I said was going to happen, and we're seeing it happen.
Have you watched The Politician on Netflix?
No, I heard it's good though.
It is. I mean, okay, so.
I'm an angry man, though. I'm not sure I need it.
It is really good, but I don't know if you'll like it because I really like it because the main character played Evan Hansen from Dear Evan Hansen on Broadway. So that's why I really like it.
You're more liberal than me, probably too, but
I don't know what that means. I don't even know what that means. This is how much I follow politics. I don't know the difference between liberal and whatever the other one is.
Okay, so if they tore down, like to me, liberal is big government. They in Canada anyway, liberal is spending a lot of money to buy votes, and conservative is small government, lower taxes, and that's the main difference. But right now, liberal is like very progressive because everybody's trying to be anti-Donald Trump. And I'm not particularly.
Look, I've got to say that guy is
well. Look at their
fuck. I've never heard such stupidity come out of the mouth. Like, it's okay for people to be stupid and to say stupid things. It's just probably.
I know, but you know what? You know what I'm mad at him about?
The most powerful man in the world. He's asking if he should be on insulin, like on live television.
He's like a James Joyce novel, just a random train of scattered thoughts constantly.
Oh, it's crazy. I don't know anything about his politics. I know that he's very polarizing.
He's inflammatory. He gets into the fray. Like I didn't like Obama's politics, but he did stay out of the fray a lot. Like he didn't try to directly attack anybody. He just made policies that attacked people.
Okay, I found something out. This is okay. So I don't know if Obamacare would have changed anything of this, but that people have to pay to get tested for coronavirus in the States.
Yeah, they do.
I think there are a few free clinics, but you sometimes have to pay.
Okay, but they're paying at the market price, right? Which is like $40 to be tested. In Canada,
some people don't have $40.
Right, but in Canada, they're paying like $300 a test, and it just gets paid out of your taxes. So there's no accountability for how much it costs. So what happens is whoever is in government has a buddy who's in some bio lab, and they're like, hey, look, if you give me a kickback, I'll send the tests your way, and you can charge $300. Oh, these only cost $40 to do. No, charge us a little more, but send me a 5% bonus. That's how, big government corrupts easily. That's my point. And I don't think you should have to pay to get tested for coronavirus. I think some of that should be covered. If you can't afford medical care, that is a big difference between Canada and the States. But I do think
it's
that you
just
should be able to
unbelievable.
get medical care no matter what. But I'm not Bernie Sanders either. And I don't think
I just
everything
think
should
that there
be free.
needs to be. I think this Australian system is so good. Like,
Yeah, the
you
two-tier
can,
system.
yeah. And I remember back in the day, we were talking about in Canada how it was like when I was in high school, I wasn't able to vote,
Oh,
but
it's
they
the
were.
dishwasher, honey. Just go back to bed. I love you. You want to say hi to Uncle Dan?
Hello.
Okay.
Word
Good
up.
night,
You should
Jacker.
buy some shark cards.
Okay. Don't
Um,
mention the shark cards.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, they were talking about how they were fighting against having a two-tier system in Canada. Oh man, what a shame. I
Well,
reckon
I'll
they
tell
should
you.
bring that shit back.
I'll tell you the difference, though. Canada, we can't afford a full two-tier system. We can't build hospitals. People can't pay. We pay 70% of all your income goes to taxes here. So your tax freedom day, when you're done paying the government, is in September, right? It's like a huge amount of tax. So nobody
know,
can
but
really
here,
pay $10,000 to have a hip replacement. But what a private side does, and of course, I work for the private side, so I know, is that you can pay to get like a test done. So like an MRI done of your lumbar spine. What makes it a little bit
yeah.
unfair and what people
Wait,
balk at,
do
which
they
I
have a
think,
private system
yeah,
in Canada?
oh yeah.
Oh,
So,
oh, then they do have a two-tier system.
yeah, but listen, but what people balk at, and this is why people are mad, is that so you get your lumbar spine. So most people would have to wait 6 months to get their MRI in the public system.
Yeah,
You got a little money in
yeah.
your pocket. You pay for the private one, $600.
Mm,
You get your
mm.
scan done that day. Then I got a disc herniation. You take it to the public system. And then all of a sudden you're on the list ahead of whoever else was waiting for the MRI. You're on the list to
Yeah.
get your back surgery, which is another 2-year wait list. I mean, our system's terrible. The wait lists are insane.
Well,
Doctors
yeah, I
are
know, but
overworked.
here,
They're-
if you've got private medical cover, and you earn over a certain amount, then you get exemptions from your tax, because you're going to use that private thing. You're going to be paying out of pocket, and
Yeah,
you're going
you
to
don't
be
get that
doing
here.
that sort of thing. Yeah, well, I mean, that's why it needs to be made better.
and we have a lot of stuff that isn't covered, as you know, from Dad being sick. Like a lot of his drugs, his pancreatic enzymes.
Oh,
were
I know,
like-
that's ridiculous.
we're like
we have a
$1,000
prescription
a month.
benefit scheme.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess like a lot of the things medically here are paid by the federal government instead of by the provincial government or by the state government.
Right.
So like everyone's helping everyone, whereas back home it seems like, I mean, Queensland Health is its own entity, and it does have its own, state cost.
Right.
But instead of like, I don't know, we've only got like 6 or 7 states. So there are a lot of people in every state. So yeah, so I guess that's probably a benefit too.
Here's some politics that are driving me crazy right now. This is supposed to be a paranormal podcast, but let me just rant a little bit longer.
Well, I mean, this is pretty fucking strange.
Yeah. So the case numbers in the States are fucking outrageous right now. They're just through the fucking ceiling.
people- people
They
are
added
stupid, though.
44,000 new cases today. It's ramped up faster, like 8,000 cases in Florida. But they're blaming people going to bars. They're blaming people going to church. But what they're not blaming is these fucking protests. And forgive me, I know it's important. I know it's an important cause. But the protests where everybody's packed shoulder to shoulder, 1 million people walking down the street,
Yeah.
that can't. It's not like the virus is
not
going to select,
good.
oh, no, this cause is just. I'm not going to infect
Yeah.
these people. I'm going to go to the bar down the road and infect the people
It's
eating
funny
pizza.
though,
together.
because we have currently in Queensland, where I live, we have 2 cases. That's it. And there's
Yeah.
millions of people here.
Yeah.
And they had a huge rally, and people were shoulder to shoulder, and there was no spike afterwards.
Yeah, but you only had
So-
2 cases. That's the difference.
I know, and I think that's it, because and as soon as there's any, like, it just takes one person to sit there and
One
cough at
person in a
people.
crowd like that could spread it probably to 20 people, right? And
Yeah.
and listen, I'm not saying the Trump rallies were a great idea either. I'm saying like fuck, it's a virus. It doesn't give a shit what any of us think of it. I don't want to wear a face mask. I don't want to social distance. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't mind social distancing, but I do it anyway. But it, people have no respect for the fact that this virus doesn't give two shits. You can't politicize it. It's just science.
Yeah.
It's just how a virus
Yeah.
works. Anyway, fuck. Let's talk about some paranormal shit, man.
Well, I've done as per usual. I've done no research at all.
Unlike the usual, though, I haven't either. But thankfully, our Patreon, Lisa.
Yes,
did
I was
send
going to
us
say
some
you're going to do Lisa's story. I was going to do it, but the thing is, I don't read good. So
Yeah, you should go to the Derek Zoolander School for Kids Who Don't Read Good.
Who don't
and
read good.
Don't do other
Yeah.
stuff good too.
I wouldn't fit in. It's made for ants.
What is this? A school for ants? All right. I think I've got a ghost story from our friend Lisa. It's a little bit long, so bear with me. And my reading also isn't great, and I'm a little stuffy. So sorry, Lisa, but I promise.
Why are you stuffy? Have you got the Rona?
I could have the Rona. I think it's from the Coors Light.
I think I've already had the Rona.
Yeah, well, I'd love to find out that I did already have it and that I don't have to worry about it anymore. But who the fuck knows?
I don't know if it's that easy. I think you can still get it even if you've had it.
It's pretty rare. Just one case in Korea so far that I know of.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There you go.
All right, so this is Lisa. I'm not going to do the Swedish Lisa voice. Hi, my name is Lisa.
We've
can't-
changed her voice to maintain anonymity.
Anonymity.
Anonymity. And it's an enemy.
And the last one she sent us was a very touching story, and then I ruined it by making a joke about a shocker at the end. But
Jeez.
I just don't have good taste. But I'll just read the message that she sent. My dad was divorcing my mom, and I moved in with him because he had a 4-story house. Okay, we're starting with a 4-story house, and already I'm like in a Roald Dahl novel. It tilted to the side, and it had a shoe for a bottom. It's crazy. He had a 4-story house he was renting, and it was just him and my younger brother. I was ending things with my son's dad, so it worked out for everyone. I loved the house. It was huge. There was an attic, the upstairs, the main floor, and a full basement. My dad wanted tomato plants out back. He planted tomato plants out back. There was a wraparound porch with a large porch swing. Nothing fancy, but just a wooden porch swing for like 3 people, if you're not built like me. I was dating the man I'm now married to. My ex was taunting us, stalking me, following me to nightclubs, disabling my car when he could. You know, all the stalker shit psychopaths do when you finally leave them for good. I don't, because I've never been stalked, but I did see the movie
Not
Cape
that you
Fear.
know of.
I'm just going to go with the Cape Fear. You know. Nicole.
Is that where you bit the guy's cheek? No.
Was that the one, or was it, what was the one with Marky Mark, who was like a stalker, and he slept with the girl, and then he busted her dad's car up, like his sports car, and then he left the dad a note that said, "Now I popped both your cherries." Anyway, I can't remember what that was called. And he like tattooed, or he like carved into his skin, Nicole Forever, like number 4. Eva. Marky Mark.
Classy.
What is that guy's name? Doesn't matter.
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg. Yeah. Okay, so the ex was being a jerk off. He was physically abusive, so I stopped going out. So many bad things happened at this house. I hope I remember to share all of them. A friend of mine's mother came to give me a macaw parrot. Okay, this is... Again, we're going down the Roald Dahl. Strange stories. I was in a 4-story house with just my father, and my friend brought me a macaw parrot for a friend, for company. The only words he could say were murder. No.
No. Oh my gosh, I got really riveted.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Macaw parrots,
Damn.
as you know, Dan, are huge, and I thought it would be cool for my 5-year-old and I to teach it words and colors and such. They have the learning capacity of a 5-year-old. Anyway, the pterodactyl would fly through the house like a maniac. So they didn't keep it in a cage. It's just like a free macaw parrot. Free roaming, free range macaw. Screaming loudly. This is amazing. And making loud bird noises all the time. It would dive bomb you. This is such a strange. It's awesome. I love this. I ended up giving it back to the lady because I thought the bird was batshit crazy, and I was worried it would hurt my 5-year-old son. Now my son is 35. He still remembers the horror of living in that house. Just with this tyrannical macaw parrot.
They can fucking chew your fingers off.
Oh yeah,
they're worse than.
They're like pinchers.
I want an orangutan. Is it an orangutan that I want? A chimpanzee, but I just don't want to risk losing my eyeballs.
You know what? We should do Trevor the chimp as the story next time.
I just want to hold one. I don't want to own one. I just want to hang out with one for a day.
Yeah, but then they hug you, and their fingers have been in their ass.
That doesn't bother me. My fingers have been in my ass.
Yeah, you were swiping crumbly dog shit all over yourself just this morning.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Fuck my life. Actually, I've got a very good life, so don't fuck my life any more than it's already been fucked.
It's pretty fucked anyway. We're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
We're all in the same boat, comrade. Okay, back to the house. First things were creepy if you were home alone. Now, I don't get scared much except of spiders. They're evil, and they drink your spit. And you eat them in your sleep.
I love this, Lisa.
This is amazing. If you haven't...
We had, just an FYI, we had the Australia's most deadly spider in our house last week.
Which one is that now?
It was a golden orb.
Oh,
spider.
I didn't think they were deadly. I thought they were just...
No,
they're just huge, and they make those big, pretty webs.
No. I keep going. I'll get back to you with the name of the spider.
Yeah, the golden orb is, I'm pretty sure, not poisonous because I looked it up because they're huge and they were all over the house that I rented one time there. Spiders are evil.
Funnel web.
Yeah, they're poisonous. Yeah, they're horrendous.
Yeah, they're bad. It was really bad.
If you haven't already listened to it, Lisa, you should listen to... I think you have to buy it as audiobooks now, but all the Ricky Gervais podcasts with Carl Pilkington are so funny. And this reminds me of Carl's life. The macaw parrot and the spiders that drink your spit. And you eat them in your sleep, and I'm pretty sure every spider on the planet wants to kill me. So the weird thing is, I can't recall spiders, water bugs, or even flies in the house. Never thought much of it since we were renting. I figured the owner probably fumigated regularly. But in hindsight, I think that even creepy crawlers were scared of this house.
That's actually, that is freaky.
It is a little creepy. Like, there's always like a trope in a horror movie when all the animals leave the forest or like walk away from the cabin.
Or in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets when Hagrid's like, just follow the spiders.
If I were you,
the spiders.
I'll just follow the spiders.
Follow the spiders.
Yeah. That's a cool take on it. Actually, this would make a pretty good horror story. So my son would wake up crying because he said there was an old man at his window or in his window.
Ugh.
I said to him that it is impossible because old men can't climb up houses to look in windows. It was a Babadook. My son's bedroom was off the attic, so there was an attic door in his room to go up there. Now, sometimes we'll talk about Dad's story too, about the bedroom, the stairs that went through the bedroom. Now, sometimes I could open the door to the attic, and sometimes it would be locked. Sometimes it would just appear open when my son had been gone at his father's or grandma's for the weekend. I brushed it off. Then toys started to appear in the living room. All lined. This is turning super creepy. Like, what's the one that we covered? The haunted house.
The one at Sally House.
Well, I was thinking of the Amityville Horror, but they didn't have a lack of flies. They had a ton of flies. Anyway, the toys started to appear in the living room, all lined up like my son had put them there. So naturally, I would make him pick them up and take them back upstairs, until it happened when he wasn't home. I started to think there was something sinister going on, but never voiced it to anyone. My dad had an old John Wayne picture in his bedroom wall. John Wayne, by the way, was just canceled, and they renamed the airport that he was named after him. I don't know why. The Duke. I'm not sure what offense he committed, but there you go.
They
John
didn't
Wayne.
like the word pilgrim.
Yeah, it's offensive to somebody. The pilgrimage to Mecca, maybe. My dad had an old John Wayne picture on his bedroom wall, and when I would go out to ask if he could sleep in Papa's waterbed, when I would go out, the son would ask if he could sleep in Papa's waterbed. But he was scared of that picture, so I'd have to take it down for him. Even if Papa was home, he was scared. He hated the picture. It scared the crap out of him. Now, we had a large hardwood staircase to the upstairs, beautiful balcony lining all the steps. I snuck down one night to grab a glass of water. I wrapped a towel around my waist, which fit at the time, LOL. Join the club. Something grabbed. I have run out of room on my bath towels. I can't walk around in a towel anymore. It's such a rude awakening to how fat
You have to
I've
invest in a bath sheet.
got. That's true.
They sell them at Costco.
I need a towel for the husky gentleman. Something grabbed my ankle on the way down, and I bit the dust. I fell down those stairs, and my towel went flying. And I looked over to my right, and my dad's girlfriend and her 2 children are looking at my half-dressed, mangled, bleeding self. I laughed and cried at the same time. Horrified, I couldn't even get up to get my towel and cover myself. So these kids are staring at me like crazy, and I'm mangled in my underwear on the hardwood floor.
At least you were wearing underwear.
Yeah, I never am wearing underwear. We went on a ski trip once. This is another aside. And we were with your friend Margaret. And and I came out in my towel and stepped on something and got it stuck on the bottom of my foot. And she was
That
sitting
was
on a
barely a
kitchen chair.
towel, though. Let's to be fair.
It's like
that
a
was
tea
like one of
towel.
those. Yeah, it was like a hand towel.
Anyway, not thinking, I went to whatever I stepped on stuck to the bottom of my foot, and I lifted my foot up on the chair to get it off, and gave her the full ball bag right in the face at the breakfast table, full view, and she recoiled in horror. And I'm pretty sure she would cancel me if she could find me.
Even then, they were saggy.
Yeah, I've had
So-
low balls since high school. You need a pillow?
Okay. Oh, I was like, you can keep going.
Can you say
We've
it
stopped
again, Jack?
talking about your balls.
You need to take a fort out of your room? Okay, good for you. Now it's definitely bedtime, dude. It's 11 o'clock at night.
It's 11 o'clock at night. What the fuck,
You were
Jack?
sleeping? Go back to sleep. I love you. I'll check it in the morning for sure. Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't sleep much. It's a bit of an issue. All right. Just getting back at it. We did the ball bag story. Then my other brother came home from college, and he and his girlfriend moved in. This is an amazing 4-story house with the crazy family living in it.
Yeah,
All the
yeah.
different offshoots of the family all living in it. It's like the what was that movie with Ben Stiller, the Wes Anderson movie? The
Oh, yeah, the Royal Tenenbaums.
Royal Tannenbaums. That's what I think of. Yeah. Then so the brother came home with his girlfriend, and they moved in while they were looking for a place so he could get a job after graduating. He attended college out of town, so he had nowhere to stay. Cool, it's a plenty big house, so of course he moved in. And she had 2 small children from a previous relationship. They were both in diapers, that small. Anyway, she went down to the basement to get her laundry, my now sister-in-law, and she bent down to open the door of the dryer, and a child screamed, and at first she thought it was one of her boys, but then realized they can't do the stairs, so she froze. And then the child screamed in her face, like she said she could feel breath on her face. No smell.
Ooh.
No smell, thank goodness. They moved out within a week and a half. Then my brother Guy fell down the basement stairs and broke his back. Coincidence?
Basement stairs are the worst.
Maybe. Yeah, if you're going to fall downstairs, it's going to be the basement stairs. That's been my experience. I've gone down them a few times. I fell down the stairs in Pugwash the last time I was there. Didn't hurt
Yeah,
myself.
they're treacherous. Yeah.
Yeah. One night when I was home alone and fell asleep on the couch, my boy was with his dad and grandma, so I snoozed out watching TV. I decided not to go out that night. Just bought a beautiful Ford Torino with fresh paint and a kick-ass stereo. I was working at a meatpacking plant, so I paid cash for it and parked it out front. You've got some horror stories about the abattoir, the meatpacking plant.
Yeah, it's scary, but they do get paid well.
But a lot of them are on pretty strong narcotics, I think, too.
This was recently. This sounds like it was kind of back in the day.
This was Ford Torino days. So this was before before the meth really hit the main line, the mainstream. I was planning on getting insurance on it that following Friday when I got paid. Oh, that's always such a bad news scenario. Back then, it wasn't really a big deal if you didn't have insurance, but my dad said to be on the safe side, just leave it parked until you get liability on it. Okay, fine. So I had one of those sleep paralysis things on the couch, and when I could finally get up and scream out, I did just that. I called a friend on the phone because I was really creeped out. He was teasing me, and the light in the living room went out. I had all the lights on because I was freaked out. So I said to him, "Oh my God, the light just went out in the room." So I scurried to the kitchen. The guy was laughing at me and teasing me. He said, "Oh man, the lights are going to go out on you in that room too." And then they did. Now I'm in tears. I run to the entryway in front of the front door because it's still lit, and it gets bright like the sun, and the bulb explodes inside the globe attached to the ceiling. I started crying. You know what? As you know, I'm skeptical about ghosts and stuff, but I have had shit like this happen to me, and it really, really freaked me out when it did.
Well, it freaks me out. Like, I watch it on the movies, and that shit doesn't scare me. But then, like, hearing it from Lisa,
it makes who you know is a pretty normal person. Yeah,
it makes it a little bit scary.
I asked my male friend if my ex could be in the house playing with breakers or something. He said no, he's not that smart. He thought at first I was joking around, but now that I'm crying, he knows I'm serious. I pulled the blinds open and plopped onto the couch frozen. The porch light was shining in on me through the plate glass window, but everything else was dark. I couldn't go outside because what if it was my ex out there trying to get me outside so he would torment me? All of a sudden, the front door opens and it's my brother. He still had a key. He said, "What the hell are you doing sitting in the dark?" He flicks the light on and says, "What's wrong?" Because I'm terrified and crying. The light worked. How did it work when I say it exploded in the ball-shaped globe? I don't know. And he believed I was scared, but not the things I told him happened. A couple nights later, I was dozing on the couch after my son went to bed, and I hear a huge explosion. No shit, I thought an airplane crashed into the house. I go out on the front lawn, and my car is totaled and across the street facing the wrong direction. There's a drunk man in a pickup truck with the front end wrapped around a tree that stopped him from driving into the living room, which would have hit the couch I was dozing on if not for the huge tree. P.S. The fucking tow truck guy charged me $70 to pull my car back over to our side of the street and basically put it where it was parked before the drunk man totaled it. He spoke no English, but they hauled him off to jail because he reeked of alcohol. He had no insurance either. I cried and had to save for another. I paid $900 for that beautiful car and it was gone. A total loss. I've never totaled a car, but I have had new cars get smoked. Actually, Jack just smoked my truck with a baseball bat. Did I tell you that on the last one?
Yes.
Bummer. Not on purpose. But I got the bill, or the estimate. Because it's aluminum, the truck bed, they estimated $3,700. So I said, I'm just going to buy some touch-up paint on eBay. Leave the dent. Okay, so her car got totaled. Then a few months of windows opening on their own and closing on their own. Toys strewn about in weird places. My boy crying and not sleeping in his room anymore. He said a little boy was playing with his toys and getting him into trouble by leaving them all over the house. I found out I was pregnant with my now husband's baby. We decided to name it Lucifer. No, that's not that's not in there. We weren't married yet, but just very much in love and lust. I miscarried. Oh, shit, I shouldn't have made a joke. Sorry, Lisa.
Fucking asshole.
I'm the fucking worst. I'm sorry, I didn't read this beforehand. That was really insensitive of me, and I'm really sorry. We were sad and, of course, upset, but resumed our happy love affair, much the way it was before we found out we were pregnant. Then I called my doctor because I still felt pregnant. He said it was all in my head. I said, I feel flutters, but off to one side. And he said, it's just gas. They assured me, uh, and I, they assured me I passed the baby and that I was perfectly able to get pregnant again. I demanded another pregnancy test and they refused because it will show positive for 30 days after the miscarriage. That is true. It's gross, but I actually took in some of what I passed during the miscarriage and they verified that I had passed the baby. And if I stopped bleeding within a week or two, I wouldn't need a D&C. I figured, okay, well, they're the experts, and
What's a DNC?
dilatation and curettage, where just to remove any retained products of conception stuff.
Yeah.
And I only had one child, so they know more than I do, right? Wrong. I had passed one baby, and another was lodged half in my uterus and half in my fallopian tube, so like an ectopic pregnancy. I made it to almost 4 months. It ruptured in that house. Now, that's so rare. It's
and it's like super like deadly, right? Like you can
well,
die from that.
ectopic pregnancies, we catch them all the time, catch them early, right? But to have one go 4 months is super rare, and to have one that's a twin where the other twin wasn't an ectopic pregnancy is something like, and I don't want to freak you out here, Lisa, but it's something like 1 in 100 million. It's super, super rare. She and her husband were having a go, she says, and all of a sudden I got sick. I laugh a little now because I shoved him off me and began puking in a small garbage can next to our bed. He wanted to know what he did wrong.
Oh, poor guy. I mean, poor you as well, Lisa. But like, I could understand. Like,
is it too big? It's too big, right? Just tell me it's because it's too big. I said something is wrong, really wrong. What do you mean? He said, I feel like I'm going to die. I passed out. I came to and asked him to put some clothes on me and wake my dad. He was terrified of my dad. It was my brother guy's birthday, June 30th, 1989. At first I thought food poisoning. After all, my ex taunted and stalked me for a good year, so my thoughts always went to him doing something sinister. My dad gets up and takes one look at me and asks my now husband what the hell he did to me. Steve says nothing.
It was just too big.
I'm sorry, Hal. It's just the way I'm built. It's huge. She just started throwing up and passing out. My dad flicks the hall light on and sees I'm grayish, like when you're bleeding inside, and calls 911, which is exactly what happens when an ectopic pregnancy ruptures. I was in and out of consciousness during that time. I remember thinking they were going to drop me, or maybe that ghost will trip them, and I will go skating down these stairs on this stretcher. Stupid thoughts go through your head when you're bleeding out. I had a hole in my uterus the size of a silver dollar, and my abdomen was filling with blood and collapsing my lungs. I lost a tube and an ovary, but they repaired my uterus. I lost 1,500 cc's of blood, and they gave me 1,000 back. My veins had collapsed, so they were unable to get an IV. And I heard one of the ambulance guys say, we have to go, we're going to lose her. Now, I treat this condition, and it is fucking scary when it goes really south and they come in with like hardly any pulse, and it's a young woman, and you're like, this person has another 40 years if I don't fuck up.
Yeah.
She was thinking, wait, me? Oh no, I have a 5-year-old son to raise. I'm not going anywhere. I spent a week in hospital watching the fireworks from my hospital bed window. Stayed a week on the baby ward, no baby. Apparently I was carrying paternal twins. One passed and was lodged and still living. And, or the other one was, obviously. It was a very sad experience, not to mention being cut from hip to hip like a C-section. All of these terrible things happened while living in this haunted horror of a house. I want to find out where the house is, and when this ends, I want to go check out that place. You know, I think that would be a cool road trip. I'm dying for a road trip. I'm dying for one. I would love to do a podcast-related road trip. If we do video, though, I have to lose 40 pounds first.
Yeah, same.
I moved out with Steve. My dad was never bothered by the crap that went on in there. But then again, he was drunk a lot and trying to survive a divorce after 20 years of marriage. So he drank heavily every day. Now, in the time he stayed living there with his second, he and his second girlfriend met and fell in love, and they are married even still today. Oh, that's nice. They married the same year my husband and I did. I think he lived there about 5 years. But he woke up one night to his girlfriend, now wife, Debbie, trying to put out a piece of paper he had lit on fire in his sleep at the kitchen table with a bunch of writing on it in his handwriting that meant nothing to him. She put it out, and after they read it and lit it back on fire in the kitchen sink, and nothing else weird or spooky happened in the house again while he lived there. I wonder...
You know what it is? It's fucking carbon monoxide poisoning.
You know what? You say that. I was just thinking, I wonder what kind of heating system they had, because this sounds a lot like the carbon monoxide poisoning story that you were telling us. I still wonder about who lives there.
Because at first
now.
I was like, you know, maybe her ex was playing horrible tricks on her and like giving her psychedelics like into the water supply
but it's
or something.
affecting too many different weird things. Like the guy.
Yeah, but
Now, it doesn't explain the drunk guy hitting her car, the light bulbs exploding. Well, but if you're having hallucinations, yeah, definitely carbon
yeah, because the
monoxide.
light bulbs didn't explode because her brother came in and flicked the lights back on.
Also, and I'm just putting it out there, when you have an ectopic pregnancy and it ruptures, you usually have some time before you get lightheaded and passing out and stuff. If it happened super fast, maybe it was because she already had a baseline of carbon monoxide poisoning. Anyway, that's just the skeptic in me. It could also be I don't know, some sort of ghoul.
A ghoul.
Yeah.
Oh, did we say ghoul at the same time?
Yeah, pretty much, except
Whoa.
I'm a little bit, like, we're leggy, so it's a little bit
Whoa.
like...
That's crazy because that's not a common word for either of us to use.
No,
Just saying.
it's this house,
There
man.
you go. Whoa.
Now, mind you, my husband and I got our own place, and we had a daughter after all of this. I
Oh, that's good.
couldn't have any
That's
more
nice.
after I had her, but I was thankful at the time.
Yeah, that's good.
she did. She says above that she Googled the house, and it looks the same. In 1991, my husband was diagnosed with astrocytoma, and they gave him a year to live. They couldn't remove all the cancer from his brain because they were causing damage digging so deep into his brain. He was paralyzed on one side and regained all motion and feeling through rehab. That's pretty impressive. Radiation and prayer groups and God Almighty healed him. He had his, holy moly, that's awesome. He had his 53rd birthday, June 19th. Hey, that's my anniversary. Happy birthday, buddy. He's healthy and works every day, even through the COVID epidemic. He hasn't had a seizure since 1995 or 96. He takes...
Whoa, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's great. You know, if you catch an astrocytoma before it turns to GBM, it's really good. But I do believe in the power of prayer. Didn't work for Dad, mind you, but still doesn't.
Well, I mean, it did though. I think most people die pretty quick. Dad suffered for a much longer time than should have.
Please keep this man in pain for our benefit. He takes Tegretol 3 times a day, which rots your teeth, makes you sleepy, and some other side effects that suck. But he's alive and well, drives a Harley and a bus for the city. He's a walking, breathing, living miracle. That's awesome.
I want to drive the Harley for the city.
Yeah. No, I think the bus is for the city. The Harley's on its own thing.
I went out for a ride yesterday. It was so nice.
Now, my only wonder is, did he have the tumor before he met me? Before he started staying at the haunted house? We will never know. Thanks, guys. Always a pleasure. This is a completely true to my memory story. If it were fiction, it wouldn't be nearly as interesting. Keep up the good work. Your #1 Patreon. And our only Patreon.
I love Lisa.
I know.
She's she's hilarious. And that is a fucking great story.
That's amazing. It is amazing.
Yeah.
And the husband, I mean, that's incredible too. So you, like Lisa, has swinging luck, right? It's either really good or really terrible.
Or real bad. Yeah.
Yeah. But
I gotta say, hopefully any new cars, I've learned from my past experience that anytime before I drive a car off a lot, or in my case, usually the driveway of the second-hand or third-hand person that I'm buying it from, I've bought insurance for it before I drive it away, because I know that my luck is so bad that I'd be like, hey, new car, boom, train.
So I used to be very careful, and now during the pandemic, I decided, what the fuck, I'm going to buy myself a motorcycle. It wasn't expensive. Oh, I should tell you about my giant YouTube fight. I know this podcast is running long. Who cares? There's nothing else to do. There's literally nothing else to do. Just enjoy it. But I bought a motorbike, and I never registered it. I drove it for like 2 months with no registration. And I just figured if the police pulled me over, I would just say, yeah, sorry, it's not registered. I wasn't even going to come up with a lie.
And that's on white privilege.
I figured I'd get a ticket. What are they? Don't they have other stuff to do? And then if they were rude, I would just say, no, defund the police.
no, but you know what it is,
Fascist.
actually? It's that we are from a really small town where they would just be like, oh, yeah, no, you just have to go get it registered. Go on.
Yeah.
And we would be on our merry way.
They're usually pretty nice. I've been pulled over a lot of times. Some of them are jerks, but you know what? It goes with the territory, and realistically, nobody's ever like beaten me up or anything. So the police in our town have been pretty good. To me, that's my experience, and I like the police. I know. I think this whole thing about
look, I mean, I do
insane.
too.
I think they need to fund them more. I think they need to train them better. I think they should at least train them a day a week in de-escalation and how to, like, if you're in a scenario where you're in combat with somebody, how to not kill them. I mean, that should be part of their training.
Well, I know. Well, look, this is a terrible example, but New Zealand police officers don't carry guns.
Yeah, neither do the English bobbies, do they?
I don't know.
The riot police, I'm sure. Well, no, the riot wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think the whole defund the police isn't to make the police go away. It's so police can focus on policing. And
yeah, now,
like, if
a lot of people are saying that, but then a lot of people are saying, no, we sincerely want to abolish the police. There should not be a police.
Well, I think that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, these are the same people who started the CHOP zone or the Chaz zone in Seattle.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And like someone just got murdered in the CHOP zone, and they couldn't get anyone out of there because the police couldn't go in.
Pretty ironic, isn't it?
Yeah.
And predictable.
Like, yeah. And then it shows, this again is from TikTok, so take my information with a grain of salt. But then it pans through like this utopia of no establishment, and there's like people sleeping on the couch in the middle of the street.
Yeah,
it's like, this looks like my own personal hell.
Absolutely. They went through all the stages of of basically communism all at once. Within like a week of each other.
It just seems like a very bad idea.
And they have now, they have their own police force, which are a bunch of Fruit Loops with rifles.
I think they've got their own, and they've got their own medics.
They're out there like bullying people. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm writing a new book, and it starts with a riot. Not about, I didn't put anything about Black Lives Matter in it, because why even bother getting into that stuff? But this riot is run by vegans, like the militant wing of the vegans who are who don't want cheese.
The vegan party.
Yeah, they start an autonomous zone, but they're how all these corporations are jumping on the bandwagon, like because they want to make money off Black Lives Matter. So, Quaker Oats is getting rid of Uncle Ben, and they're putting out commercials saying Black Lives Matter and we're going to hire more diversity, whatever. And that's all about making money. So in my book, I decided that the corporations would actually sponsor the autonomous zones and buy them their munitions. So there's like the Vagisil autonomous zone and the Quaker Oats autonomous zone. And they actually, there's mortar fire from one to the other because they're trying to get more headlines for Quaker Oats than Vagisil. Anyway,
oh my gosh.
And as I was writing it, I was like, I really hope I can do this quickly, because if I can't, this is actually going to happen in real life, and then it won't be interesting to anybody.
Yeah, then it will just be a biography.
It'll just be like, I can't out-weird what's happening in real life.
Well, I know that this has been overdone so much, but the whole Simpsons episode with the donut, where I don't know, Homer orders something, and these people in China are packing it, and one guy has a really bad cough.
Oh.
And he coughs into the box, and then Homer opens the box,
Yeah,
and the little germies fly up into his nose.
It's from Wuhan,
and
right?
then yes,
Yeah.
and then there's like it turns into a pandemic, and then they release murder hornets, like it's from like 1995.
Yeah, it was very predictive episode.
And also, did you see Donald Trump? I think I sent it to you when he was like, the medical experts here are fantastic. They've done many great things. They've made the AIDS vaccine. It's like, what the fuck?
Now I did see that, but did you just see the clip of Joe Biden saying 120 million Americans have died of COVID-19?
What?
Never
No.
stops to correct himself. It's bananas. It's actually somebody sent it to me, and it's on TikTok. It's the only other TikTok thing I've ever seen other than the ones you send me. You should look up. They're both probably senile. I don't know. Maybe that's
Well,
what, I don't want to get canceled. So with our giant audience and all this income that we're making off poor Lisa, hate to be canceled.
Poor Lisa. Oh, and yeah, like for sidebar, Lisa, you do not have to continue the Patreon.
Yeah, you're still our number one.
We
always
love
be
you
our
regardless.
favorite fan. Yeah.
I love how like other influencers like you and I, Jake,
Influencers
are like flogging their Patreons, and we're just like, no, please, like this is not worth your money.
Well, I thought it'd be really funny to have an island of influencers in this new book, because who is more useless than these like clothing horse, YouTube influencers or social media influencers who have, they have no purpose. Their only purpose is, have you ever heard the term simps, like in reference to men who just give money to women who look good?
Yeah, I had to Google it and look it up on Urban Dictionary, because I was like, I keep seeing it on TikTok, and it's clearly a Gen Z term.
Yeah. To me, it's the new bellwether in knowing that you've failed as a parent is if your child becomes a social media influencer. I can't. It used to be stripper, not even close. Influencer is so much worse.
These influencers are making millions of dollars, though.
I know, and they're useless. They're more useless. They're almost more useless than the useless celebrities who are making the black and white videos where they look really serious and say that they won't allow another unchecked moment, and they do their like acting like the Jesse Pinkman guy does this like looks real
I don't
serious.
get those here.
You gotta see it. You gotta see the commercial. It's so awful.
Unchecked moment for what? What is?
Oh, I don't know. It's like they're basically just trying to co-opt the branding that's going on with racism, just like the companies, right? They just want people to like pay attention to them and give them film projects. So they're like, I'll never let another unchecked moment pass. Like, I'll check my privilege before I talk to a person of color. And it's like,
right.
I got to send you this video. It's so fucking hilarious. It's so bad. It's so terrible.
Yeah.
Shit. I hope I can find it. It was really funny. I put out a tweet that said the background hum you're experiencing is everyone who poured their blood, sweat, and tears into building this beautiful country spinning in their graves. I am going to get canceled. They're saying that the Canada flag is a trigger now and shouldn't be presented. Fuck off.
What?
Yes.
What? No.
Things have gone way too far. It's too far now. Fuck off. Just crawl back into your stupid, little triggered, overly sensitive holes, and just let the real people get on with getting the work done. Because realistically, I'm not saying you're not real people if you're super sensitive about the Canadian flag, but you are a pussy, and you need to just fucking toughen up and get out there, get a job. It'll be good for you.
Well, you know what is interesting though, in Australia, and it may just be that my history is so lacking in Canadian history, but it certainly wasn't part of our history commercials. That here in Australia, we've got like 4 national flags. So we've got like the Australian flag, and then we have the Aboriginal flag and the Torres Strait Islander flag. Oh, maybe we only have three. There might be a fourth. I can't remember it. But they do only have the Canadian flag in Canada, right? The Aboriginals don't have a national flag to represent them, do they?
In Canada? Oh, fuck
Yeah.
knows. Who knows? But it,
Oh.
I don't know.
But
I don't
I
know
mean,
a lot. There's a lot. There's more I don't know than what I do know. Yeah,
yeah.
this I
Oh,
take
well.
responsibility commercial is terrible. But what I want to send you is the people who did the I take responsibility. There's somebody who did like a
it's gonna
video
tell me.
turning themselves into all the celebrities on the video. It's really funny. Anyway,
I've got a.
for every time.
Oh,
I can't even, I won't say it because some of it is a little bit borderline humor. It's funny coming from a comedian. Coming from me, it would sound inappropriate. I work with this guy who's a cardiac surgeon, and he's...
Oh, no, it is only three. It is three flags in Australia. There wasn't a fourth.
Oh, there you go. I work with a dude who's a cardiac surgeon. He's really funny, really nice guy. He's I don't know of what particular descent, but he's he's a brown guy, and we always get along really well. And I sent him. I was doing cases in the hospital on the weekend. He sent me a couple things he needed done, and I did them for him. And I sent him a text. He asked how they went. I said the first one was good. The second one was a little bit squirrely, but she was fine. Then he sent me back a picture of himself at a Black Lives rally, or Black Lives Matter rally, and I thought, oh my fuck, what did I just say? And I started thinking, well, squirrels are brown, and maybe squirrely is like some racist term. I started looking it up. I was like, what does squirrely mean? What does because I meant it like she was trying to climb off the bed, and I had to give her some sedation.
Yeah.
I got really paranoid that I'd said something like super racist about brown people unknowingly.
Oh,
And
no. Yeah.
and I said, I sent him back a question mark, just like, what's this about? Didn't hear back. About an hour later, he wrote, oh, sorry, that wasn't meant for you. I said, oh, because that's good. I thought you were trying to like tactfully let me know that I was, giving off some pretty racist vibes.
Yeah.
He was like, no, but you are the whitest person I know. I said, yeah, no, practically translucent.
I've got this shirt from a shop called Ganda here.
Yeah.
And they kind of have like these kind of trendy kind of shirts. But the reason I buy from them is because their 2XL fits me nicely. So, and they have sale bins at the front where you can like literally delve into them and sort through like children's clothing to women's underwear to find to find like the cheap shirt
like
that
Martin's.
I'm after.
Is like Martin's used to be.
Yeah, it's like all in the same bin, so it's not like organized at all. And I found one. It was like $3, but it was black, and I really like wearing black because it's slimming.
It doesn't show your breasts as much. I know. Yeah.
As badly. But the thing about this one was that it had like all these. It had all these tiny little holes in it, and oh, hello.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
well,
I'm here, but it's we'd better finish this one quickly because it's about to erase it all, I think.
Well, I'll just cut it off.
Uh-oh.
All right, let me put the outro. All right. Take care, weirdos.
See you guys.
Oh,
sorry, we have to cut that one off. We'll see you next time.
I'll tell you about my holy shirt next time. Bye.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty good beatboxing, actually.
That's right. Oops.
Hard to
Not
fade
so
out
great
on
with the
beatbox.
not too good with the DJing. All right. Take it. Bye.